Welcoming for the first time for the year, Heath Shaw, welcome. One-time
Thanks,
premiership
Josh.
player.
Yeah, one time.
Well, I was going to say because I was
Just say premiership player.
premiership player.
Don't have to say one time.
Well, because the guy that's doubled the amount of premierships you've won, it's in next year.
Yeah, I was in a few grand finals, but
Yeah.
just couldn't get it done.
Justin O'Neill, welcome for the first time.
Is the man. Two-time. He's actually a two-time premiership player.
Two-time.
Two different clubs?
Two different clubs, yeah.
Storm.
And lost to the Storm as well.
Oh, did you? And Cowboys.
Yeah.
So.
What was your favourite premiership, can you say?
I
can say mine.
I get asked that question, but it's like they were different in their own aspect. Like the Storm was my first, so it's like special in that. But
Yeah.
the Cowboys is like the game that we played and ended up being against the Broncos and the Cowboys Broncos grand final.
Yeah,
that
that's
year
huge.
was like just the finish and how it ended and everything was just like wow.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's like
When
played in that. It's like,
when Ben Hunt dropped it, were you like, how good?
yeah. Oh.
How good.
Well,
Poor
that
guy.
goes through your mind, you're like,
That
yes.
poor
It
guy.
was kind of like, yes, here we go. We got a leg up. But, yeah, we still had heaps to do. Like, there's so many times that we were like, oh, we've got this. And then something would happen in the game and change. They'd score a try or something, and it was like, or they get the ball back from something, and it's like, here we go. Now we've lost it.
Yeah.
So the first one, how old were you when you won the first one?
2012, so I would have been 22 or
22. Yeah, so you're like, that was about the same age as me. So it's like, you're pretty happy with that because you're like straight off the bat, you're 22, yeah. Some guys are like 35, they haven't won a premiership. And you get one at 22, you go, yeah, I'm sweet now. But then how long did it take until the second one?
another 3 years.
I was thinking like 6 or 7. You're like, oh, this is easy. 3 years later, yep, straight
So you had
away.
a pretty good run is what you said. That's pretty good.
I had a good run. I was lucky, but like, because I left the Storm looking to try and progress in my career because I kind of got to a standstill at Melbourne. But then I left the year I left, like the Cowboys, we went all the way that year and won the GF. So I was like, how good's this?
You made a good decision. Made a real good decision. So you had like those two teams, obviously some absolute superstars in there.
Yeah.
And I was going to save this for later, but we might as well do it now.
Well, we're on it.
Best player. Well, you've played with some.
We played with literally the two goats. You got JT or Smith, really.
Smith.
Yeah.
Or would you even throw like Cooper in there? who's
Cooper Cronk, Billy
yes,
Slater.
Billy Slater.
Greg Inglis.
Michael
Inglis,
Morgan's
yeah.
actually like a sneaky.
Yeah, 100%. He's played heaps of games for his state and his country. So, the names that were in the teams that I both got to play for were amazing. Like, it's hard to go past Smithy being just like an absolute legend in the game, legend of a bloke as well.
Yeah.
And the amount of games he'd played. And I always used to think, like, it always got said that he had, like, a body like an accountant, but somehow played in the middle of the field, one of the toughest positions, and just, like, probably played the most consecutive games as well, like, without injury, things like that, and consistently. So it was, like, shocking to think that he was able to do that, but...
It's a good sledge. You got a body like an accountant. And you played 400 rugby league games. So
You had to have something on
yeah,
you.
you've done something well. And then you got JT up the other end.
And he was, like, the same, like, both Queenslanders, so obviously...
Yeah. No wonder they had such a good team.
common trait.
All the Storm boys are pretty much Queenslanders, weren't they? There wasn't any-
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The Storm team at one point in time, there's even Israel Folau was like a play for this.
Greg Inglis.
Queensland as well, yeah, Greg Inglis. They pretty much had like...
Well, there was a bit of a discrepancy at that time, wasn't there?
Yeah. Whether or not he was an actual Queenslander. But,
He chose the right team as well then, didn't he?
yeah, picked well. They went through that 8-year streak of just winning the series back to back. So, JT was the same. Like, legend of a bloke, legend of a player. Like, they were both competitors, both worked hard.
Yeah.
JT sort of, I probably got to have more to deal with being an outside back and having to sort of communicate with the halves a bit. But yeah, both just like
But if you had to choose one, like you're starting a team, right? You're picking
I was
a team.
going to ask Josh, but you can ask.
No,
this
you
one.
gotta know. Like, who would you go?
Jeez, I don't know. I don't know.
You've got kids too. Which one's your favourite kid? Why don't you ask that? That's just as hard. It's the same
Someone's
question.
got to be done dirty.
I like it. You definitely have a favourite child as well.
Yeah.
I do at the moment.
Unsaid, but you just never say
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if you're starting a team, see, I always think if you're starting a team, you look for your like key positional players. But I mean, they're both like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
That's a good one because it's like, who's the better player? But then if you're starting a new team, in AFL it was that old theory as well. It's like if you're starting a new team, which Gold Coast Suns came in and the Giants came in, and Gold Coast got Gary Ablett, and obviously the Giants were trying to get Buddy because they didn't end up. But it's like you got a key position, a guy who can kick 100 goals, or a midfielder, which there's a lot of midfielders out there that can get a lot of the ball, but it was obviously the best. So it's like it's a good argument between those two, but obviously JT and Smithy were pretty similar in the way they went about it. But if you were starting a team then...
You probably want Smith, don't you? Because he's control. Oh, they're both controlling the game.
Or you just...
That's it.
right.
You literally...
If Smithy gets the ball play the ball every time, he's first to touch it.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I think. But then when someone's controlling the play of the field and they're, dictating where we play and what plays next and stuff, like you're thinking they're talking to the hookers as well and directing what kind of plays they want and how they want to play the game. So halfback does that as well, which is JT. But
All right, you're starting a new team, brand new team. It's going to be probably in America because they're going to Vegas.
Yeah.
They're playing this weekend. Take away JT, take away Smithy. Who would you pick?
current players.
Yeah, I reckon let's go
around
current.
now.
Current players or past players? Start a new team? Or I can go current. Current players. Who would you pick right now? We'll do both.
Yeah.
Brand new team in Vegas. That's where your home deck is. So they can't be too loose.
You got to keep a lid on it. I'd probably. I'm looking at the Melbourne boys at the moment. And
Yeah.
who they've got there. And
Munster.
I like money, but then you said Vegas.
Yeah, so I reckon his form might go down.
Yeah.
His form. He'll have cash and he'll be in Vegas. He's in trouble.
So I don't know. I don't have money on there, but I think I'd probably go say key position like Smithy. I'd probably go Harry Grant. Who's
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Captain now.
Yeah, he's doing really well. He sort of made a role cemented a position in like rep footy, state of origin.
Yeah.
So,
From nowhere. Or
Yeah.
Not from nowhere. He was always good, but then he just wasn't getting to go. Tigers, then he came in, and then progressed straight in, and then was playing.
What's the old like Tigers to Storm connection, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
seems like they leave the Tigers, come to the Storm, and then they like
go, right.
Josh Adokar and
that's right.
and stuff.
And then so that's current day, and then
Surely Cleary gets the. Surely you put.
yeah,
him,
but he's
well, you just because
too
you're
good
going,
now.
you just the
He's
Melbourne.
just too good now.
Yeah.
He's good. Someone said someone tossed up a rumor the other day that he may go to the Super League
I heard that too.
because of the Matilda.
Oh yeah, what's
His
her name?
misses. And he's done it all. He'll win 4 this year. If they win 4 in a row,
He's done everything.
He'll go to
He's
Super
too
League.
good to go there now, though, isn't he? Just dominate, wouldn't he?
He's dominating still. So it's like, that's what I said. I said, well, do you leave? Like you're an NRL player and you're killing it here in the Australian competition. Do you go over to the Super League and potentially play out your season or career over there, or do you stay here? Because I think like if you get statistics for the Super League as opposed to if your statistics kept building here in the Australian competition, you'd think that you'd have more merit to your statistics that you had here in the Australian competition, as opposed to because most of the Australian players go to retire
Over there.
play the back end of their footy career over there. So it's like
Get their retirement
Well, I mean,
funds.
Lockie Coote, someone you play with, he went to the Super League, played another like 6 years there, basically.
Yeah.
Like, not that he was done, and like he probably went there a little bit earlier as well. But
yeah.
It's an interesting one, but there might be another challenge as
I
well.
like that rumor though.
It was floating around. It is floating around. And it could be a challenge as well, because if you just say they do win this year, that's 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Like, and they've lost players throughout the last couple of years as well, and they still win it. Like, it's obviously a fair chunk of it's because of him, but then you go over there, maybe go to a mid-tier team, and then they win it. In the Super League, it's like, oh, well, this guy's actually an absolute rock star.
Pretty good.
He can do it anywhere. Like
definitely
the Premier League players, you know, they stay in the same league, but if they leave and go to another one and they win, then they go up a little bit, up a peg. Josh?
Momentum. Yeah, for sure.
I definitely think he's that good. Like I reckon that last year's grand final, like
he's unreal.
that was him.
It's just, what a comeback too. It's insane. So obviously they're all going over to Vegas, or a few of the players going over to Vegas. Did you think letting the NRL players go over there, the league players? There are a few blokes that you thought, geez, that's a bit of a stretch to allow an organisation with a few.
Yeah. That's probably why Melbourne didn't go, because Munster. Munster, no, he's in that team. Melbourne are definitely not playing over there.
Yeah. Well, I always thought that if they ever got a game, because I think there was always talks about trying to get like a rep game over there, like a State of Origin or something, because the State of Origin was building and they're promoting it, you know, like in different states. We're having games, you know, games here in Melbourne were going really well.
Adelaide last year. I think Adelaide last year, was it? Yeah.
And those games were going really well, and they were getting decent crowds from it. There's talks of maybe taking the game to Vegas. But,
so now you're spewing that you're not playing, aren't you? The funny thing about the Vegas and the games that are over there, obviously, there's the danger of the league boys who tend to get themselves in a bit of trouble.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I was like, I'd be concerned about
and
a few
then
lads.
a week before, or 2 weeks before they get on the plane to go to Vegas, the captain and the vice captain of the Broncos are wrestling in the street off their heads. I'm like, gee, that's a good start, isn't it? They haven't even left their state yet and they're getting in trouble. We should run actually a market on who will someone get arrested and what from what team? From what team will they get arrested, and have a few names floating up there. But Kevy Walters, the Broncos coach, came out and said he won't have any curfews. There's no curfews. He goes, you're going to treat them like they're adults. Yeah. That's what they are. They're over there to do a job, but you're doing a job in a place where people tend to have a bit more fun. How do you think? What do you reckon the boys, would they be?
Would Craig have let that happen?
Oh, I'm not too sure. I think probably back when I was playing, probably not. I don't think for sure. We'd probably have a curfew for sure, I think. You'd have to. You'd almost, like I'm thinking now, it's almost silly not to. Like, what's going to happen? Like open Southern in Vegas.
Yeah. Good. There'd be some boys get lost.
Yeah. I don't know. But I definitely man, we had a competition, the Auckland Nines, so we have the Nines competition.
Yeah.
That was in Auckland. And I know it's happened to other players before as well, but like you forget because you're travelling Sydney, Brisbane, whatever, Queensland, back to Melbourne most weekends and stuff, and you don't need a passport. Like it's just on a plane. All you got to remember is pack your bag, make sure your boots are in your bag, get to the hotel, you unpack, and then you get ready to play. And then make sure you pack everything, get back on the plane, get back to your hometown, and then so we went to New Zealand for one of these trips, and I got over there, and I had my passport, and I was like, oh, they got a safe in the hotel. I was like, oh, I don't want to lose my passport because I've got to get home with this. So I chucked it in the safe. I locked the safe, and I said to my roommate, do you want to chuck your passport in here? Like, we'll keep it safe so we don't lose it. No one can steal it. And he's like, no way, I'm not doing that. I'll forget it for sure. And I was like, nah. So lo and behold, got to the airport. I think we had a win. So we went out, we had a few beers, got back to the airport, the hotel, and everything's normal because you'd done it before. So bags packed and not before we even do anything. So I just got my bag, walked out of the room on the bus on time and everything. I was like, yeah, I'm sweet. Everything's normal so far. Get to the airport, and they're like, boys, just make sure you write down your passport numbers ready for the arrival ticket and stuff. And I was like, passport. And I was like, shit, where's my passport? I was like, I left it in the safe.
Question, were you the only one? Because surely there was another couple of people that forgot their passports or left them or did something.
I swear I thought I was like, no, I'm not that stupid. Someone else has done the same thing. But I feel like someone was like, I think I've left mine at the hotel too. And it was just in the bottom of their bag. And I was like,
oh, no. Good.
Funny about that, passport stories, I actually lost my passport in Vegas. Yeah, I went over there. I didn't have a license at the time for certain reasons. And so I had to take my passport. And you have to take your passport when you're out if you're not 21. So you just take it out. Lost it. when I was
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
And it's funny, you can actually get back into the country without a passport. I just had to go to airport early. They ring up the Australian consul and you had to answer a few questions. And
Make sure it's you.
yeah, I just didn't know my mum's maiden name.
Did you?
So I literally sat there for like 20 minutes trying to figure out what my mum's maiden name, because my nan got married twice.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So I found out some family history there. And I kept on saying like last name Hart. And they're like, no, Hart. And I just like bang. And he's like, you need this or you can't leave the country.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and then after a while, the lady asked me, did your mum have any siblings? I said, yeah, she's got a sister. She's got a sister. What's her last name? I said, Kriya. And they said, that's it. So I found out my nan got married twice. And then I found out what her actual maiden name was and got back in the country with a piece of paper.
That's,
I didn't know that.
No,
Yeah,
no.
just a piece of paper straight through. And when I land in Melbourne,
That's why you're supposed to photocopy it, aren't you?
yeah,
As well.
you can skip the line too because you go through
can
customs.
use a photocopy.
Yeah, if you
Like
have a
worst
photocopy,
case
it helps.
scenario or
yeah,
whatever.
it helps the process, speeds up
Yeah.
the process because they'll have your number. But obviously, I didn't do
Yeah.
that. I was going to Vegas. I didn't think I would.
I
be
obviously
photocopying.
thought I was doing the safest thing. Like,
Yeah, you were actually responsible to be fair. Yeah.
Too responsible.
So you would have played with some characters. We just talked about how you played with like some of the best that's ever played, but you would have played with some characters. Like who would be the number one person to get in trouble in Vegas from the people you played with?
oh,
I mean, we've seen Ethan Lowe at the Gold Coast a couple of times.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
We
Yeah.
run into him every Magic Millions.
He was looking for a job last time we saw him.
Ethan Lowe would have to be up there for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Ethan Lowe was the nightclub king in Townsville. Like there was the one strip, right? So
Yeah.
each club would be like next to each other along the one strip. And like one of the places we used to go to, the Mad Cow, was like near the middle or the end of the strip.
Yeah.
So you'd have to pass a few things. You'd be with Ethan, and like it'd be like he'd walk to the first bouncer. Hey mate, how you going? Next time, hey mate, what's going on?
Yeah.
He'd do all the slaps up the whole way there, and it happened every time.
Yeah.
Surely there's a few of the Storm boys would have been pretty loose because in Melbourne, like unless you know your sport, you probably wouldn't like sort of recognise many of the Storm. But even like Cam Smith, Billy Slater, Cooper Cronk. I remember when I was at the Pies and you see those boys out, and we knew them because we sort of trained together, and you know other sports people, but no one else really cared. So these guys could get a bit loose in Melbourne, a bit looser than what they can in New South Wales or Queensland.
Yeah, for sure.
Surely a couple of those guys would have been right up there
Yeah,
on a Vegas trip.
yeah. We used to have a player called Dane Nielsen, who was a character, just alone as a character. And one of the funniest guys I reckon I've ever met. And I reckon he would be one that you have to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Just those boys in your team that you're like, hey, all right, boys, let's stick together. Let's keep a whole agreement that if we go somewhere, we're all going together or whatever. Like
We all go home together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that never worked.
Yeah, that never works.
That never worked.
No.
Good.
So it's round one, isn't it? Because AFL's come up with round 0, which doesn't make any sense. So round 1, the 2 games, the doubleheader in Vegas. 1, do you think they're going to get a good crowd? Because I haven't heard if there's going to be any tickets sold at all. And 2, obviously 2 cracking games. Who do you reckon who'll win? Because they're on Sunday this week.
Yeah, I think they've definitely picked. I think they've probably thought about who they take over there. The 4 teams I think that went over there are going to be a good couple of games for the NRL. So, I haven't really the same thing. I haven't really heard too much about ticket sales or.
Which is not a good thing because the Matildas last night, they were saying it's sold out, it's sold out, it's sold out. 54,000 people there.
54,000.
54,000. And it was weird because I read something, someone said, if I was an AFL team who have their home ground there, they sell out, I think it's like 48 or something. So I don't know where the extra 6,000 people fit in, but they had 54, which is like a record crowd there, and they said it was sold out. So NRL, I'm a bit worried because they're not saying how many tickets are sold. They're saying, it's going to be a good game, it's going to be good stadium and all of the above.
See, I've only ever thought about like they've had like was it the 7 like the rugby over there?
Yeah.
The 7s, and they always get sort of mixed crowds because over a week or something where they play multiple games, so you're not going to have full crowds all the time. People go in and out to watch games, but like they also create the entertainment. People get dressed up, and stuff for those games. But yeah, I'm not too sure how the NRL is going to go, and they've definitely done a fair bit of what I think is a lot of advertising around it and stuff and promo stuff. But yeah, I'm surprised.
There'd be some expat, a lot of expat.
Well, you think of expats from around the country?
Oh yeah, any country
English
that has
people,
an NRL,
yeah.
They'll go and watch it because
Irish
it's
will just
something to
be. There's always Irish at every event. So
yeah,
where there's beer,
Yeah,
there's
it.
Irish. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But those teams. So the first game, Sea Eagles, Rabbitohs, and then Roosters, Broncos. Like they're four pretty good teams.
yeah.
With good supporter base. So obviously, the viewing here is going to be good, but whether the crowd there is not. So who do you think out of those two games? Who you got? Sea Eagles and Rabbitohs.
I got the Rabbitohs over the Sea Eagles. I just like the Cody Walker. I think he's a great halfback. He always seems to pull a rabbit out of his hat. Excuse pun. But, but yeah, I feel like he always seems to turn it on in big game situations, and also they've got Latrell there at fullback who's just a beast when he wants to be. Yeah, I think the occasion definitely. I can imagine if I was playing a game in Vegas, like just the stage that they're going to be playing on, maybe just in another country and that feel of something different, and almost feels like
Put on
it's
a
gonna
big
be
show.
So I think the big game players will definitely stand up, and I think South have probably got a few of those.
yeah,
That Manly do have some guns in their teams as well. And like Saab's like one of the quickest
Yeah.
players, I reckon,
Crazy.
in the NRL, and he doesn't even look like he's sprinting at times. Like, and Trebojevic, if he's fighting fit,
Yeah.
he's always an X factor for them. So it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a good game. Those two teams, and I've got the Broncos. I just think they sort of. I feel like the grand final was sort of a stepping stone for them, and sort of
A good learning
showcase
moment.
what they can do and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's based on their new team and the new players that are coming through. And I think they're all still pretty young. So it's like, if anything, that grand final last year was probably a learning curve for a lot of those young players. So
yeah.
I think hopefully Kevy's got them firing for the start of the season, and a show I think they'll put on.
I reckon if you want to really make an impact in the US, it's got to be a massive punch on, like straight off the bat.
You like ice hockey or something?
Yeah, just something like that, just to get people talking. Like, you'll see a few like tries and all that, but they want to see a big punch on. Like the Americans will get around, no pads, massive tackles, massive hits, and then a punch on.
100%.
That'll be highlights on ESPN, left, right, and centre, and that'll be even better promotion for the game, even though we don't promote violence, Josh.
No, absolutely not. No. Who are your early predictions then for premiership?
Apart from Penrith.
Yeah, man, it's hard to think.
There's another team.
Hard to not think that they're just going to be in it again. Like, I think they've lost Crichton, one of their strike centres. I'm not sure if they've lost too many other players. So they're going to have sort of a similar team, and it's going to potentially be Luai's last game. Last year with them. So there's just a couple of things that I think they're definitely going to be in the final series again, and possibly like that's going to be like four. That's going to be 4 wins.
4
in a row, which is like they're already breaking records, I think. So it's
And your two old teams, Storm and Titans.
Storm Cowboys, man.
Storm Cowboys.
Titans are no chance ever.
So Storm will make the finals because that's what they do.
So
but can they get right up there to contend? And Cowboys, same, because I think they're just on the edge. I think a few experts tipping them just to make it or maybe just miss.
Yeah.
What do you think of those two and the chances?
Yeah, like I think the Cowboys are sort of. It's hard that. I thought watching them last year, I feel like they started the season really well, and they've got on paper. You look at a team on paper, and they've got all the players there to be able to do great things. It was just it's sort of something happened throughout midway of the year. They've sort of fell apart a bit and lost their way, but. And like you say, the Storm seem to always find themselves in the final series, and they've got enough experience there to to be able to, if they get in the big dance, to know what to do. They've got the players there to be able to win it. I think they know they can get to final series. It's just sort of finding those extra wins to get them into the
Top
the big
four.
game.
Yeah. Top four is crucial, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Because it can secure you where your finals games are played and stuff. That's huge for teams going in the back end of the season. It's such a long season. So many games played. You pick up injuries along the way and stuff, and just to have rests where you can. They might only be like a day or 3 days, like throughout the year, each side of a game. But
it's pretty crazy how many games you guys do play. Like when you think about AFL sort of they keep wanting to say less. Do you reckon that'll ever happen in the NRL, or Vlandis will never let that happen? I reckon.
He want them to play more.
Yeah.
Make the season longer, but even like as you said, Josh, the backup from State of Origin.
Yeah, there's some people still play after Origin.
Yeah. Like 3 games, 3 days later, and just like hitting the whole time. I'm just like, nah, that's not for me at all.
Yeah.
Plus, some blokes are having beers after Origin.
Yeah.
Just to numb the pain a little bit, I think.
Just the anti-inflam.
Anti-inflames, naturally.
that has the reverse effect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Do you reckon, would you like to see less games for the players, or
for the players, I think, or maybe even if it can't be less games, just like things that are put into place, so that players aren't seeing as many like seeing a player like Trebojevic, for instance, as an example, having muscle tears as most of his sort of injuries being holding him out from playing games. It's like, and I don't know if that's just a genetic thing, or I haven't met him, to be honest, but if it is due to this workload or the stress that he's putting his body through week in, week out, 100%. If we can see players stay on the field longer, then if we have things put in place to be able to do that, then yes, that's what I reckon. And I always think that it's going to be a hard gig to try and cut a game here and there, just because of how much I guess
money
viewing and stuff makes.
And they are so finely tuned, the athletes now, that like those little injuries, it might be like normally it was like 10 years ago, like a 1 week injury becomes like a 3 week injury now, because they're so finely tuned, and the pace is so much bigger, the hits are so much harder. Same as AFL. It's exactly the same thing. Like injuries now are like extended periods of time rather than smaller, just purely because of they're so finely tuned. Like Guthrie's first minute of the game does his quad and he's out for 10 weeks. First minute of a practice game. It's 10 weeks like that.
It's also like as well, like the younger players when they get injured are so eager to get back out. Yeah, and probably like because they're like, well, it's up to you at the end of the day when the doctor goes. Yeah, and you probably like maybe a week later or whatever, or
overdo it, come back too early.
Yeah, mate. Less pre-season, straight into games. That's the main thing.
One thing I want to do this year is we're gonna start the season for both AFL and NRL with 100 units, and we have to try and get. Obviously, just not lose all 100 units by the end of the year would be good.
So don't load up on the first week?
No. Okay. So maybe just like a 1 unit bet sort of thing. But I reckon because Juzzy's the first guest of the year, we get Juzzy to have a bet. So the pressure's on you, Juzzy, to have a.
Can you do like a little, like is it like a one-off bet, or can it be like a multi?
It can be a multi. Like you don't have to
put it into horses. You can put it into.
You can do anything. It's your
darts.
Bet.
We've bet on darts before.
We haven't had any success on darts. But.
No, we did put a multi on. Josh picked a leg or a couple of legs. I picked a couple of legs, and Swanee picked a couple of legs, and everything got up. And we had Djokovic to win the what was it? Was it Wimbledon or something?
It was Wimbledon, yeah.
Yeah, and he's in the final. He's $1.10. That was our last leg of it, and he lost to Alcaraz. We're messaging each other during the game, going, "I can't believe this is the leg that's going to miss all of them." So there's nothing's a certainty. But are you going to stick with NRL, or is there another sport that you fancy yourself not too bad at?
Wish I could say I was a gun at darts.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
That's a sport where you don't have to be a finely tuned athlete.
No, that's it.
The complete
that and lawn
opposite.
bowls, you know.
Yeah.
And baseball.
Yeah, baseball. Well, yeah, some of them.
Some of them, they sign some deals too.
Batters, they want them to be heavy, so they do.
Do they?
They want them to be heavy.
Yeah. I remember my mate, his cousin played for the University of Texas.
Yeah.
And they like just kept feeding, like he's like, you're too skinny, you get more weight on you, more weight on you, more weight on you. So they're just like, they're like pizza, just like smash pizza, like try and get weight on him. Because obviously you got more weight behind you, it's like when you're coming through. And like more momentum. I don't know, that's what, yeah.
Yeah, true.
You look at like
you
that
can
guy.
run as quick as you want when you hit over
Those
the
dudes
fence.
are big. Like look at Judge and stuff. And who's that bloke that signed $1 billion contract? Like he is a big unit.
It makes
Imagine $1 billion contract. Anyway, what's your bet, Juzzy? What do you reckon? First bet of the year. Kicking us off.
We'll go NRL. I reckon you just pick the both winners of both games.
What, you want to multi it?
Yeah, just multi it up. Because you get reasonably.
I'll go South and Broncos then.
South and Broncos.
South and Broncos.
Vegas.
What would we get? What do we get there, Josh?
288, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, see,
nice
that's nice. If you only got one, there wouldn't be much there.
No, that's good.
And then can I add to that?
Yeah. Or you want to add it onto the bet?
Yeah.
All right, there you go,
No,
Juzzy. So
I just thought like
not pressure's on you now.
no. So if we have that, and then
So we're going to multi. Yeah. Good.
because it'll get people interested, even though it's already interesting. On Saturday, obviously, there's some big races.
Yeah.
And there's some absolute rock stars rolling around. I think we throw in, they're very short, but you take it. Throw in Fangirl at Randwick in race 7.
Yep.
That's $1.55, but it's a rock star. And then throw in.
Oh, geez, just make it.
No, I'm just giving you. And
I
then
want to start with the winner.
And then Stormboy $1.30. So there's like 4 favourites.
Where's Stormboy at? What time?
And that's in race 4 at Randwick as well. So Stormboy is going to win the Golden Slipper, so just has to get through this one, have a nice little win, $1.30.
Stormboy was the one that won at the Magic Millions, right? Yeah, it's a big horse.
It's a.
Are you into your horses?
Oh, I don't mind a Dabble too.
All right, done. So that brings us to 581.
Yeah, so that's a nice, that's a nice
little one.
that's nice odds
Could
there.
be a good start to the year.
I think that's okay. And on Stormboy, so I saw a picture of it the other day, and that is an absolute beast. And they said it looks like a 4-year-old, and it's only 2. Wins this week, it's $3 at the moment for the Golden Slipper. Wins this week, it'll be $1.80 for the Golden Slipper. I'm going to go up and watch, and then it retires and goes to stud, and they make $50 million. So
yeah. Well, stud, what do they could charge whatever for that after.
I'll tell you what, if it wins and wins comfortably, they'll be making their money back real quick.
It's like $200,000 a pop or whatever.
And that's the thing, unfortunately, with horse racing. If the horse is that good, they're too valuable to keep running.
Yeah, of course.
Kieran McAvoy, good mate of mine, he had the Autumn Sun.
Autumn Sun, I was going to say.
For 4 wins, won the Golden Rose, one of these races, and he was spewing when they retired at stud because he's like, I missed out on all this prize money because I'll be riding it every week. So he was livid. So these poor jockeys are like, I'll be spewing if they retire. But I'm looking forward to that. But that's a good little multi to start off.
I don't mind that at all. I'm going to chuck that on, so that'll be good, and people can get on and copy that.
We'll copy you later on. Copy that, sir.
Done. Awesome. Juzzy, pleasure having you on. First person of the year. Sorry about Heath. He talks a lot, as you can imagine, but
I was just sitting at home by myself. I wasn't talking to anyone. We actually, before we leave, Josh, we've got a big walk tomorrow.
Yeah, yep.
Just a 100K walk for Oxfam.
Yep.
Tomorrow.
Raising some good funds.
Let's make sure you get to bed nice and early tonight.
Yeah.
Carb load. And Juzzy was talking about how he, because we're finishing around the 1,000 steps.
Yeah.
And tell us the story about when you're at the Storm. Because Storm do things a bit different. Like Craig Bellamy, he does things a bit different, keeps you on your toes. So the 1,000 steps, as soon as I mentioned that, you said, back at the Storm.
Yeah. We had, as I think most people in Melbourne will know, that Storm have their annual army camps. And they always used to be a thing that it'd almost be like, how can we better last year's? How can we make
torment them more?
Yeah, how can we make them go through more hell? And I somehow was able to miss consecutive years from doing my first army camp, and it's like once you've done it, you've ticked it, and you're probably less likely. Nothing's ever certain, but you're probably less likely to go on another one. And I eventually had to go on one. I was fighting fit and ready to go. So got chucked in this army camp, and we started out at Amy Park, and we we started off at the stadium at Amy, and we had to do like a session just there where we were running around and doing push-ups and stuff, and then we go and get our backpacks, which are like these backpacks full of like all our stuff for the few nights that we're going and stuff, and they don't tell you anything, so you don't know what you're in for.
The unknown.
And it's just like, next, this is what's next, this is what's next, and you're just like, yep, and get ready for it. So then chuck our backpacks on, and they just go, all right, we're going to just start walking, follow the leaders, and we've got like a couple of, they're like ex-SAS,
commandos,
commandos, and they just start leading, and they keep it a pretty like quick pace. Like if you're falling back, then someone else chases you up, and you got to pick it up and pick up the pace. So you got to, it's almost like a jog. Like it was such a fast pace. So we start walking, and I just remember like we headed sort of out towards the freeway, and it was like, I wonder where we're going. And the whole time, like we're not really allowed to talk, but we're kind of like speculating between the boys, going, where we're going. Anyway, we end up like walking. We left at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever, and we walked all through the night. Eventually you could start to see the Dandenong Mountains, and we're like following the freeway the whole way, and it's like, where are we going? And it just kept going and going, and we ended up getting to 1,000 steps, and I was like, surely not. Like I think we walked like 40 or 50k or something to get there.
Yeah, have to be.
And then we got there, and they were like, righto, saying, like there was just no talk like most of the way there, and it was like, righto, we're going to go up the mountain. We're going to go up 1,000 steps. So we just walked up 1,000 steps, and they'd be like, righto, we're going back down. We go back down, and they go, righto, we're going back up.
Just keep going.
And we just kept we just had to keep going. We're like the talk is like, keep going, boys. Like, come on, don't give up, lads.
Yeah.
The next thing. You can't really say we're going. We just got one more, like, because
you don't know.
So, like, just keep going.
Those commandos love testing.
Just your mental, like, because you're like,
professional athletes as well. They're like, I'm going to push these guys. I don't want a couple of them.
And so did you finish at the steps?
Yeah. So the next thing you know, like the sun's coming up.
That's us. That's us tomorrow. That's what we're doing. We're going to be like, there's the sun. Beautiful.
And then we come back down, and they're cooking like some breakfast. I swear it was like boiled potatoes. And we had, like, salt and boiled potatoes. And then it was like, righto, scoff that down, jump on the bus. They jump on the bus, and you can never get a break. And I swear on the bus it was something like, now write what you learnt about the last few hours we just had. And then so you're not resting, you can't sleep, so you're trying to write this thing out, and by the end of it doesn't make any sense. You're like,
I just kept on walking.
and then we pull up at like a car sales place, and we're like, what are we doing here? We get out, and they're like, righto, our next thing's going to be, let's clean cars. We're cleaning cars for like the next couple of hours. But it was like racing, and then the loser team had to like penalties straight away, and you're like, oh my God. And like people walking by going like, look at this, all the Storm boys dressed up in their Storm gear, running around with buckets.
Oh, you're in the Storm gear?
Yeah.
Oh, they're in their kids.
Just running around like washing cars like frantically, like, hurry up, we're going to get through.
Oh,
I love that. That's great.
brutal.
We should do Dabble Army Camp.
Mate, this is just a corporate job, mate. People come in for a paycheck.
Yeah, but it'd be good to torment a few.
Yeah.
We can run it. You and me can run it.
Yeah,
Torment the rest.
It's going to be massive.
Yeah, it'll be big. Don't worry. We'll be good. We'll be good.
Right.
Juzzy, appreciate it, mate.
Thanks,
Absolute
mate.
legend.
That was great.
Heath,
We'll get you back very soon.
he's won double the amount of premierships you've won, by the way.
Yeah, that's that stat. Yeah. Thanks, that, Jeff. Thanks.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Still
Thanks.
got one.
What are you prepared to lose today? Set a deposit limit. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.